Hello, Gail here. It's morning, you know, I mean, usually morning isn't the best time of day for me, but it's so hot. I've had to come and do this in the morning. It's a bit of a shocker for me. Anyway, here I am doing this and trying not to get the clips in at the top. Yeah, it's been so hot. I mean, you know, we only had like 2 weeks of sun in June, and this past week I've not been able to come in here. It's been too hot. I mean, yesterday it was 29, the day before it was 28. I've stayed in here up until about 32, and then only madmen would stay. You know, I am English after all. Anyway, yeah, it's quite cool. It's 23 at the moment, so that's not too bad compared to what we'll have in the afternoon. Although, you know, we're due rain next week and we'll all moan about that as well. Besides the point, I do try to do one every week, you know, but things just occur. And last week, my husband had another stroke. So he spent 4 days in hospital, and I spent most of my days either at the hospital or on the phone to various consultants, phoning me up and asking me questions because he couldn't remember anything. Anyway, he's home now, and we're having a quiet week before he starts doing things like walking to the shop. Told him he can't do it this week. This week he has to rest. Anyway, that's stroke number 2. And yesterday we had yet another disaster. I'm not sure if on the last video I told you my daughter had scratched her cornea and they'd taken part of it away. Well, it was healing nicely until Monday morning it was. She kept texting me saying she was in so much pain at work, so she went to the eye hospital Monday evening, and they gave her all sorts of things and said, you know, go home and rest it and put these drops in every 2 hours and all this kind of thing. And anyway, she woke up on Tuesday morning and it was far worse, so she went back to the hospital and they have removed her cornea entirely. Removed it. I didn't know they could do that. Anyway, she's in a lot of pain. The cornea is very protective of the eye, so she's got 4 different sorts of drops. Most of them have to go in every 4 hours, and some have to go in every half hour for the next month. Anyway, apparently it will grow back, and she's been referred to a specialist who'll be looking after her while that's going on. So, you know, I've had a bit much to be doing with, and of course I've got the quilt exhibition, which is a week tomorrow, and I've got all sorts of things to do, so I've been very busy. And my granddaughter's birthday. I've made the doll. I've made 3 dresses for the doll. A little pram has come, and a little picnic set. I've got a dress to make her. I'm making her a party dress, so I've got all the material and my patterns out last night, so I've got to do that. I'm exhibiting some of my quilts with the quilt group, so I've got to sort them out, and I'm also doing a demonstration of quilting. So I've got one of my quilting pieces ready. I have prematurely finished a quilt. I say prematurely because I wanted to do a red border around it. If you remember, last year I did it at last year's quilt show. I demonstrated Quilt As You Go, and that's all sewn together into a quilt, and I was going to do a red border and then make it bigger with other borders, but I've not got round to that. So I've been madly doing that, only I've not put a red border. I have done a red binding, and I will unpick that after the exhibition. So that's all finished and ready. Well, I've got 2 more sides to bind on the second side. So that's nearly done. I don't know if I was going to take, because I do big quilting, as you know, with thick cotton, crochet cotton, and I was going to take a piece in that I was quilting with fine cotton to show the 2 different styles, but I don't know if I'm going to get round to that. It took me long enough to find the red material I needed for the binding, and I've only got a week left. I feel like I've got a lot on my plate. Anyway, I've been cutting down my what are they called, drunkard's path pieces. I've done 30 so far. I've got 256 in total, and oh no, I've done 40. I've done 40 cut downs, so they're all cut down to 4.5, and then I can start positioning them and sewing them together. From my de-stash group, I bought this. It's a little kit of Liberty fabric that I bought from Alice Caroline, and they specialise in Liberty fabrics. So I got that de-stash, so you know, much reduced. So I've got that to do eventually one day. We'll go through my de-stash group first. I think I got this, which is Moda Collection for a Cause Mill Book series. So I'm not going to get it out. I shall just show you. Look, purple, the lovely colours, pink, green, purple. So I'm going to really like that, aren't I, when I get it out. I've no plans for it, of course. I've increased my dinosaur fabrics. I think I already showed you those with the panel. I have bought a metre of this. I thought I would do the back. See all the different dinosaurs in amongst the greenery. And I bought this panel. So I'm getting a collection of dinosaur fabrics for a dinosaur quilt for a special little boy. And I bought some what's it called, Anna Marie Horner prints. I do like them, but being as they're made by Free Spirit, they're a bit more expensive than what I usually buy, but they're lovely, so I bought them. No plans, of course, just thought I'll get them. And I bought this fabric, which I thought was very nice because it's purple, I expect. And I bought this panel that's got birds and flowers on it. Are they upside down? No. So there's 1, 2, 3, 9. There's 18 different bird pictures. And I have ordered a panel. I've ordered 2 actually, of floral arrangements on a pale pink that be coming in the new year, I think. And I thought I might want to make it bigger so I can put these in between. So that's what I've bought this week, I think, because I've been too busy to buy anything. Oh, and I found this while I was rooting for the fabric, my red border thing. I found this. Now this is the panel I bought to make a quilt for my granddaughter, but I don't think I'm going to make it this year. I think I'll have to find something Christmassy, because I think this is a bit old for a 2-year-old. I'm sure she'll like it, but it'll be appreciated when she's 6 or 7, I think. Don't you think? It is gorgeous with all the fairies. That's Christmas fairy. And I did get some matching fabric that I've obviously put somewhere from I have no idea where I put it. We were sorting out fabric at the quilting club, and some Christmas fabric that would look very nice with that, with flower fairies on, came out. So that's somewhere. I'll show it you if I find it. Now we get to the main thing now. The main thing is Tilda. I said I would get my Tilda fabrics out, and I have. And I'm surprised that I haven't got tons and tons. I thought I had tons and tons. It cost tons and tons of money, because Free Spirit, of course, is like one of the most expensive. Tilda is worth it though, because Tilda is gorgeous. So I don't really know where to start. I'll start with my big pile of mixed up ones. I don't know how many there are in here. These are left over from making quilts and mixing up. I'll very quickly go through them if I can get the knot undone. Now, of course, the quilt behind me is made with Tilda fabrics. What did I do with those? You know, she does some, I think she calls them chambray fabrics, and I've got 2 here. I use them in this quilt behind me, and they're kind of a shot cotton. They're very nice. Can you see the two-tone? It's not in your face. If you come across this, I would say buy it, because it is so pretty. And the plain ones on the quilt behind me are those fabrics made by Tilda, and that's all I've got left. And of course it's got the pyjamas in, these pyjamas here. And the yellow ones aren't Tilda. I've probably told you that as well. Many years ago, well, a few years ago, because I don't go to the shops now, but I used to go to shops and exhibitions and things like that, and I used to look at all the fabrics and pick out the ones that I love the pattern of or the colour of. And I am a bit partial to you know, ochre, gold, nice ochre yellow, and I used this particular fabric in this quilt. You can see where the yellow one is there, and there's another one further down behind me. Well, I made them in the quilt, and when we washed it, they ran. So I took them out and replaced them with some other fabrics, probably made by Moda. Most of mine are Moda. But of course now I don't go to shops, and I don't go to exhibitions or anything like that. I can't even get from the car park, so there's not much point. So I know what I'm buying, and I certainly don't buy things on colour. I buy things by make. I think, oh, I'll see what they've got. What, mostly Moda, but I do look at other makes online. Makes I've heard of, you know, and quality. Whereas in that quilt show, I remember buying them. I was just swayed by the colour, and I never even thought about who made them, because I don't ever have a problem with running, because I usually buy known makes. So that taught me a lesson. So these are my pile of mixed up bits that I've used in quilts. I've made 2 quilts now. This is in the one behind me. 2 quilts just made out of Tilda fabric. I love this one. I do love flowers and roses. That's lovely, isn't it? That's lovely. I love that one. I think I've got a big piece there because I bought more. You might recognise, if you're a Tilda lover, what collection these are from. This is in the quilt behind me, but I've got a terrible memory, so I don't even pretend to remember. So the quilt, the Tilda fabrics I had at the time, I picked out. Most of these actually are in the flying geese. I did a lot of flying geese to go around there. That's that one, and there it is again in the purple. And here's another one of that shieldy colour that I didn't use. And then we have a lovely one with birds in. And berries. Doesn't look Tilda, that, does it? It looks more like William Morris. But. And then we have more florals. This is a colour I don't use very much of. I've got some other ones in that colour as well. And the newest collection. The newest collection comes out the first week in October, I think. Oh, it's gorgeous. But I'm not buying any of the orange ones. No. I don't care if they are part of the collection. I'm not going to buy them. Oh, here's another one. So maybe they just look like William Morris, but really they're Tilda. That's a bit orange. And then we have the gorgeous flowers. Aren't they lovely? Gorgeous. I love flowers, as you know. Oh, here's some more. Look. Aren't they gorgeous? I hope I'm not showing you all upside down, because I can't really tell. I didn't use these ones with the white background, you see, in the quilt behind me. So these are all fat quarters. You see, there's that upside. Can you see the little rabbit? Or hare. Another one that reminds me of William Morris. And some more flowers. Lovely. Roses. This kind of colour I don't really use, but I've got some others in this colour, Tilda, so yeah, I might actually use it. It's kind of reminds me of my 90s when I was a little girl. When I was a young girl, up to being about 10, I used to wear the cast-off 90s from my great granny, because she was only small, and they were kind of all flowery like that, and they were flannel, and they buttoned right up to the neck and had long sleeves, because, you know, we didn't have central heating until I was about 12. We moved house and got central heating. Oh, what a luxury. They're nice, aren't they? Like little wreaths. There's some more lovely flowers, and some more those sorts of flowers. Lovely. And then we have these. I collect these over years and years. The other quilt I made, not this one behind me, but the other one I showed you with little squares, that was all made out of 5-inch charm packs. That's all I could afford, was the little charm packs. And I've got the label somewhere of which ones I used. I think I had about 5 saved up, and I bought another 2 and made a whole quilt, which is it's one of our favourites. And I bordered it and backed it with an old well, I think it was a quilt cover, an old quilt cover that had got a bit threadbare, and I cut out the best bits and bordered and backed it. Kind of an egg, duck egg colour, which I was very pleased about, because I don't like to throw things away, as I'm sure most of you don't like to throw things away either. Oh, let me just turn up the sound. I'm back, I'll try and splice them together. Oh dear, editing. Anyway, here, that's my big bundle all done. So now I'll show you these. This is a smaller bundle, and it says it's the Woodland collection. So it's obviously not the whole collection. Probably the other ones were orange or something, so I didn't buy them. So this is got trees all over it. Oh, that's why it's called Woodland, isn't it? And flowers. Can you hear the dustbin men? And this one, oh, how cute is that? It's got little rabbits on it in the woods. Oh, look at that, another lovely floral. Of course, these are years old now. Nice greens, and here's a green wood again, and some little green flowers, and gorgeous. I love these roses, these flowers, whatever they are, they're lovely. They're that way up. And some more flowers, and little squirrels and rabbits. And then I got these. Now these are blenders, because they started bringing out a range of blenders, which I don't usually buy. They're a bit kind of not my kind of thing. Anyway, these are, because I thought they were lovely. So green flowers, pink flowers. This is a nice colour, blue and green flowers, and a brighter pink, or maybe a deeper pink, and yellow. And I was looking last night, I haven't really got many of these sorts of colours. Yellow, ochre, and that's one from a different range. And then I bought this collection with some money a group of friends I have gave me for my 60th. My antenatal class, from my daughter, who is 31 tomorrow. So the antenatal class I went to with her, we've all continued going out over all the years, 31 years. Anyway, this is from Garden Life, the Garden Life collection. I thought I would spend the money on a collection of fabric and make a quilt that will remind me of them. So that's what I've done. I bought all these fabrics that, you know, were the fabric of the year then. And I'm going to make a quilt called my antenatal quilt, I shall call them. Not that my husband knows the difference between any of my quilts. It's got birds on it. It's got a bird on the other side. Can you see that bird? Let's see if I can find a whole bird. There. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, my husband doesn't know. I say, go and get such a quilt. He's no idea. That's pretty. It's a bit like that Anna Marie Horner one. And I think they must be nasturtiums. That's what they look like. And here's a lovely, I think these are peonies. So I've got all of those colours all sectioned off into fat quarter sets. So I've got them all in this colour as well. Greens, so that was my pink set before. This is my green set. It's going to be a lovely quilt when I make it, isn't it? And I'm going to stay with these fabrics. These are pinky purpley things. It's a bit reddy and purple. Show you that side. And nasturtium type flowers. And then I've got my blue ones. So they're lovely, aren't they? I'm going to make a lovely quilt. Paid for by my antenatal friends. Hello, if you're watching. Some of them do. Anyway, now these are half yards that I've bought. Now I've already shown you these. This is my most recent purchase. So they're lovely, aren't they? I just bought the floral ones. I was trying to save money. Now the site that I normally buy these from, the shop that's gone online over, it went online when we had COVID and it's not opened the shop again. Last night I was lying in bed with my husband on his first night back home after coming home from hospital, and I couldn't sleep. And you know why I couldn't sleep? Because I was working out in my head the price of fabric, because this normal place that I buy them from got a special offer on if you pre-order them, and they're only coming in, what, 3 weeks. And he was selling the these kind of things for, I don't know, can't remember, $18.99 or something like that. And he was selling the actual fabric at £13.90 a metre. And I worked out in my head that if you bought the quarter yards, fat quarters, from meterage, it would be cheaper than buying these with the bundle. So then, of course, I had to find my phone and do it on the calculator. And my husband said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just working stuff out," because that's what I do. I work stuff out all the time. I'm always thinking. So these ones are the kind of blender ones that I don't usually buy, but I bought all of this range. So that's the way up they are. It's a nice green. And has that got a pot in it? Yeah, they're upside down. There's a pot. Now, I love this range. It's got peacocks in it. And I'm thinking of doing a quilt, you know, diamond shapes, to showcase the pots and the birds and things. Although I might have to look for another. Oh, these are colours now. So we've got kind of grey taupes. Some of the images are big, you see. Look, here's a peacock. Look at the one at the top. Now, I could probably get that in. Here's one. There. Look at that. So I'd like the whole peacock to be visible without cutting it up. So I thought if I did those diamonds, like Kath Fassett does a lot of his, just diamonds bordered with something. But I might have to buy a few more if I can find them. I'll look on my D-Stash group. Because the peacock ones, on one of them that I've looked at, I haven't got a complete peacock. So, you know, I could have these, those juggy things. These have got bouquets of flowers in. You see, can you see a big bouquet on there? No. There's one there. Can you see that one? What am I showing you? I have to open it out fully. And it's upside down. There. I want that to be in a quilt, you know, where you can actually see the big thing. So I think I'm going to do diamonds. They'll have to be quite big diamonds, won't they? And there's another bouquet, and this is kind of taupe and blue. So we go into the blues now. I mean, aren't they gorgeous? And here's one with blue peacocks on somewhere. I think this is a peacock one. Oh, look, it's blue fabric with pink peacock. I mean, I don't know if any of you like Tilda, but she does some lovely fabrics. I don't like them all. She seems lately to be doing fabrics with people on. I don't want people on. So I didn't buy any of that range. Here's a blue peacock on floral. There's one whole one. It's gorgeous, isn't it? What a gorgeous colour. I like kind of plum colours. Here's another pot. So we're going into the plum purpley types of colour now. We've done the blue and the kind of teal. That's a big bouquet. I should really have got half meters of all these to make sure I had a full bouquet. That's kind of another bouquet, but on terracotta-y colour. And then we have the green ones. There's a green pot. Pots with flowers in. Do you see why I buy these? Please comment, you know, interact with me. Say, nah, I don't like that kind of thing. Or, yes. Has that got a big one on? Yeah. So these are the greens here, and we have one more. Oh, two more. Well, a luscious green. See, that's kind of pale green, and that's a luscious green, isn't it? And then we have another peacock one. Oh no, I was going to say, are they all pink? But they're not. Here's a green one on green fabric. I mean, even if there's no peacock, the fabric's lovely, isn't it, with the flowers and everything. I just love that range. And then I've got some that I bought from my D-Stash group. And I think I've shown you everything then. Yeah. It's only took, well, I don't know, 3 hours. No, I know it's not 3 hours. Anyway. Little blue bird on purple and kind of grassy flowers. These are mixed ranges. Here's the nasturtiums. How people can actually sell these, I don't know. I don't think I could. I want to make them into a quilt before I die. Oh yeah, me and my husband were on a big diet now. Been on a big diet since Tuesday. I've eaten a lot of salad because we have to make him fit. They said that the fact he's diabetic, overweight and has high blood pressure are all big contributory factors to him having these strokes, and I have all of those. So we're going to get thin and fit. We thought if we can lose a couple of stone for Christmas, that would be very nice, and then continue the next year and be fit as fiddles. They're kind of nasturtiums, I think. I mean, if you know what they are, then please do let me know. I'm just guessing. I once ate when the children were little. I read some, we used to grow things, you know, sweet peas and nasturtiums and things, and the climbing things. I read somewhere that you could eat the nasturtiums, so we did. We put the flowers in salad. I think I was the only one that ate them. I think I also dipped them in, you know, a very fine batter and deep fried them. I don't think the children wanted to eat them, and of course I didn't make them. And the last one, another nasturtium. Maybe this lady that I bought them off didn't like the nasturtiums. They're usually orange, aren't they? Orange and yellow. I must start planting more plants, but I'm really not very good at it. One of my daughters, well, both my daughters are very good gardeners actually, but the one that's husband's in the army, they're not allowed to plant anything in their garden. She has lots of pots, especially pots of trees that she's training to grow flat against a trellis from pots. So they're all like fanned out, and she can take them wherever she goes. They're only allowed plant pots. Yeah, and she's got apple trees, plum trees, cherry trees, pear trees. She's got about, I think she bought about 18 and she's got about 12 that lived. So she's a very good gardener, but she doesn't really get much chance. And my other daughter, when they moved into the house they're in now, garden was a right tip. It was mostly full of concrete blocks or breeze blocks or whatever you want to call them, in a big pile. Anyway, they got rid of them all. They planted grass seed and they did borders, and all the neighbours came and said to them, "You've made such a treasure of that garden. It's been so horrible for years and years." So my grandchildren and my daughter are very friendly with the neighbours, really. They chat over the fence. They don't like go in each other's houses for coffee or anything, but you know, quite talk about the garden. And some of the old people that live near her, they bring her plants out of their garden. I thought you'd like this. Yeah, but her garden is just full of things. Ours is wild. We have a wild garden so that, you know, wild creatures can enjoy living here. And my grandson loves it. He's forever rooting around looking for bugs. Just noticing that my I'll have to pick those pears, and my apple tree, all its leaves are falling off. That's probably because of the hot weather, isn't it, that we've had these last few days. Anyway, I'm not going to stay here forever because I've got lots to do, as I've said. And I was thinking I'm going to my quilting group next week, and I usually have lunch with my friend before we go. And I don't think I can do that because we meet up at 11:30 and I get home at 4. So I'll have left him on his own for 4.5 hours. Can I do that, do you think? Well, it'll be 2 weeks then since he had his stroke, won't it? So, well, I'll have to see how he is. He is quite delicate. He's got the gumptions to do things, but he's very worn out. He's very tired. But I did tell him, you know, when he had his first brain problem, not a stroke, he had cerebral vasculitis 15 years ago. They said that when the brain is injured, it takes your strength. It has priority. It doesn't think, oh, I'll just have a bit and let them get up and down stairs. I'll let them walk to the shop. It just has all of your energy until it's recovered, and you're very, very tired and you have to sleep so that your brain can get better. I mean, he was in hospital a month then, 15 years ago, and he didn't come out the same person at all. I mean, they told us that he had brain damage, and we thought, you know, maybe he'll need to learn to use a pen or a knife and fork, or we didn't know how it would affect him, but it affected him in so many ways. He was a different person. He didn't like the food he liked anymore. He liked food that before he hadn't liked. Like, you know, he's saying to me, why don't we ever eat pork? We hadn't eaten pork for 26 years. I can't remember why we stopped eating it, but you know, it was our decision. So he gets pork now from the Chinese because I still don't eat it. I have a feeling there was a news report about worms or something in the pork. We thought we're not having that anymore, which probably isn't relevant now, but yeah, he used to argue in the supermarket all the time, and he wanted to wear black clothes all the time. So I had to go and buy him black clothes, and he was so argumentative. He used to argue with people in the street. And if you talked when he was talking, he'd raise his... Oh, there were so many things. There was eating, all sorts of things. I was frightened of him when he came home. I didn't know who he was. Anyway, that was a long time ago, and we've retrained him. And since then, he has had a flare of his vasculitis last year. He was in hospital then 9 days, but they gave him steroids, and that worked very well because that's the treatment. and they decided not to give him more chemotherapy, because it's caused by your immune system attacking parts of your body. You can get it everywhere. He got it in the brain. So the chemotherapy attacks your immune system, trying to keep it under control, because we don't want our immune system attacking our brain, do we? So he had chemotherapy for 18 months and he doesn't want any more. So last year, luckily, they said he didn't need any. But this year, you know, at the weekend, they were talking about giving him some of that, because when we got to the hospital and all the doctors came and talked to him and read all of his, you go along to neurology, they read all his notes and everything, and the stroke team thought he'd had a stroke, and the vasculitis team thought it was vasculitis. So we had to wait for them to argue it out until they reached an agreement. They also thought it might be something to do with his heart, because his parents have, they both had heart problems, and so, you know, they thought he has a very slow heartbeat, so we don't know. You know, when you're young and healthy, you don't take any notice of your heartbeat, do you? We don't know if it was caused by the vasculitis or if we just noticed then. I don't know, but it very rarely. I think tops 52. It's not because he's fit. Anyway, yeah, he was very worried at weekend that it might be more vasculitis. But usually things affect his migraine, affects the left side of his body. The vasculitis affected the left side of his body. Last year's stroke affected his speech. So that kind of isn't either side, is it? But at the weekend, it affected the right side of his body, which was, you know, didn't really follow suit. Anyway, they decided it was a stroke. And, you know, it wasn't a bad stroke. He's okay. He can see now. He couldn't see properly out of his right eye. You know, when you go like this, can you see in your peripheral vision? You got to about here before he saw it on his right side. He went to get some petrol on his way to work, and when he got there, he couldn't remember how to do it. So he came back home. Good job he goes to work at 5:10 and there's not much traffic. Anyway, he's all right. His vision's all right, and he hasn't forgotten anything or got confused or anything since, though I am watching him like a hawk. He's just tired. So this is a week of rest. Not allowed to go for a walk because he can't drive. He's not allowed to drive. Anyway, I'm going to go off and get everything done that I've got to get done, and I'll talk to you again soon. Hope this leaves you well. Bye bye.